You're looking live at the greatest college football podcast of all time to ever be seen. I'm your host, Coach Cast, and our first co-host says the West Coast is the best coast. He's so cool that Snap-on named a color after him, and you can't spell Santa Cruz without S and C. Please welcome to the show, Jude Santa Cruz.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? Fight on. V is for victory. We are SC.
And as the other panelists show up, I will bring them in.
I like that intro for you, man. Cruz. That was cool.
I got another one, too, for me. But I'll share it later when everybody else comes in. Maybe not. Oh, we'll save it for next week. All right. Let's say hi to some folks in the chat. Say hi to Hunter. He was the first one here at 328. He says, let's go. I'm sure he'll show up at some point. East Coast Ken says that Mama says, whose ball is for the devil? Power Stroke Jude gave everybody a 15-minute warning. Bocce says, I'm here early tonight, unlike last week. Hi, everyone. What's going on, Bocce? It's good to see you.
Bocce.
We have some highs going back. Cass is going to have way too much fun with his sound effects. You don't even know the least of it, or most of it, or I don't know, whatever that is. That phrase that's in there. But I have some cool stuff planned. And we're going to wait a few minutes, let everybody kind of pick up and come in. So we'll give everybody a breakdown of how tonight's podcast is going to go. It could be just Jude and I don't know. Lindsay should be here. Hunter should be here. Christian won't be here. He's got school. He needs the folks in school. So, but I digress. So Jude, let's we can't start with winners and losers with just we can. Why not? Jude, give me a winner from last week. Tell me what'd you see? Who won last week that really impressed you?
You mean didn't that guy, wasn't he a quarterback at HBC school last year? You mean did he play at Jackson State? Whoa, wait a second. You mean, come on, man, Coach Prime, baby, winner. I think he was a winner on everybody's book. Coach Prime, man, he's proclaiming that he's got 3 kids on his team that are going to be finalists for the Heisman Trophy. Man.
I talked a tremendous amount of shit last week. I have not got through this week. I'm gonna keep my pick's gonna be a little more conservative this week than it was last week. I'll just let everybody know that.
But nah, man, those kids, even though they were, a lot of people said it was depth. He said that they have depth, but they came and they played their hearts out. And what impressed me was even though they led most of the game, there were a couple drives late in the game where they had to come back because TCU, they showed their championship composure and they took the lead back. And yeah, it's a lesser TCU team, but it's a team that's coached well and knows how to win. I mean, even though these guys weren't starting last year, they were on the team. And when they took the lead, Shedeur and them boys, they stayed composed and they came back and they took the lead right back every single time. Man, it really impressed me.
Yeah, I was impressed. It was a hell of a good game. So, something I saw last week that I thought winning was the University of Wyoming or Wyoming University. I don't know how exactly to say it, but the Cowboys went and took on Texas Tech at home. They hosted them, and they're in Laramie, and they beat Tech in 2 overtimes, and it was just a pretty slugfest game. I mean, Wyoming shouldn't beat Tech ever, right? I mean, let's just be honest on that. Tech came in there.
Josh Allen's not there anymore. They had their chance, right?
Yeah, Tech came in there counting their Texas Tech came in there counting their Big 12 championship. They already thought they were going to win, and they definitely got smashed. And although they played in 2 overtimes, anytime a upper tier D1 school gets beat by a lower tier D1 school, they get smashed. Just ask Baylor about that. I'm kind of hanging on the Baylor game because one of our panelists is a Texas State fighting Bobcat alum. So I want to see what he says whenever he gets here.
That's right. I can't wait to see what he says. I kind of heard it.
Yeah.
In bits and pieces.
I think the family has a slight bit of PTSD from 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 the game. Big losers from last weekend, Jude. Who lost last week that you just?
Ooh, man, Dabo and the voters saw it, man. Going from a top 10 team, I think number 8 in the nation, to I think number 25 in one poll, and they might even be out on the other. But wow, Dabo Sweeney, man, he came in. Clemson was obviously ranked off of reputation and recent success because they did not play the way they were ranked. Duke came in, played good, solid football. They were coached well. Their quarterback, I think, is going to be a first-round pick. Man, yeah, Dabo Sweeney and the Clemson team, man, they were one of the big losers for me, anyways.
Yeah, that was definitely a grade A butt kicking. I'm gonna go with LSU. LSU
That's
had
a
an
good one.
opportunity to maintain in the second half versus Florida State, and they got taken to the woodshed and whooped. That was a beating, and that should tell you right there. Florida State could be one of the top teams in the nation. I mean, realistically, after how bad they beat LSU, they probably should be ranked in the top 4.
Shoot, they did. They are. They jumped SC.
Arguably, they could be ranked number 1 because they went and they played. I know the game was in Florida in Orlando, but LSU should rep pretty well in that game. They should have shown up. They have a championship caliber coach, and they got their butts kicked, and it wasn't close. The second half, I mean, Florida State physically beat them down. They didn't luck into this thing. They didn't get fortunate by referee whistles. They went and beat LSU down. So, big loser, LSU. All right, Jude, who else did you see winning last week?
Man, another big win, and I know you guys are going to call me a homer, but you can only beat who you put in front of you. But I think USC bounced back from what I thought was a lackluster performance when they played the opening weekend, and they gave up a couple of a 74-yard touchdown and a 73-yard play that led to a touchdown. I mean, a couple of big plays, and they would have been a shutout. They played great. They bounced back. They looked good. Caleb Williams is definitely living up to those preseason standards of being a Heisman favorite. I picked him to win the Heisman. I keep saying he's going to be, him and Archie Griffin. They're going to be able to put their Heismans on a teeter-totter, and it's not going to. Archie Griffin always goes like this. No more, man. He's going to have someone who will do this. And if Arizona gets the number 1 draft pick, the following year, Caleb's going to do this because he's going to come back. He's not going to want to play for Arizona, and he's going to play one more year at SC because of NIL money. So that's awesome. But SC and Caleb Williams were big winners this week.
Oh man, can you imagine 2 Cliff Kingsbury quarterbacks get drafted by?
Oh man, I know, huh? well, Cliff Kingsbury, he's had his hands on Baker Mayfield. He's had his hands on Patrick Mahomes. He's had Kyler Murray, and now he's got Caleb. I mean, he's got good quarterbacks. We'll see what happens.
I mean, he's coached some good quarterbacks too, and Graham Harrell, and
Graham Harrell. Yeah, he's a great quarterback at Texas Tech.
They all come from the Mike Leach. That Hunter's going to correct me on this. He's going to join us right now, I think, but where he lives, he didn't get great reception. We got to say hi to a few more folks before we kick this thing off. We're in pregame still. I'll throw the banner up here so everybody knows we're still in pregame. We haven't kicked off for the game yet. But got to say hi to Brandon from BSS Small Engines. What's going on, Brandon? Ken's back.
What's up, Brandon?
Christian's
Ken,
here.
welcome back.
Christian did well this week. That's what he said. All right, I'm going to go with my winner this past week was Texas A&M. They looked pretty good, and it wasn't even close. So it was a toss-up. I was going to say either Texas A&M or Oklahoma. They both had tremendous showings. I know they didn't play it. They played a nothing opponent, but being able to go and just work efficiently against the nothing opponent is a pretty big deal. So,
well, if I could get
one more loser.
One more loser, I'll say BYU, man. They looked horrible in a 14-0 win. I didn't think they were going to play Sam Houston, that horribly. But Sam Houston played tough, so hats off to them. But BYU's a big loser. But one more quick big winner: only one undefeated conference in all of Division I football, and that's because the West Coast is the best coast. Hats off to the Pac-12, soon to be Pac-2.
All right, we're gonna get one more shout out.
You know what I'm hoping, Cass?
What's up?
So you know what I'm hoping? When Dodge went out of NASCAR, Brad Keselowski won the championship. As Dodge pulled themselves out, they went out with the win. I'm hoping the Pac-12 does the same thing. SC wins the national championship as the Pac-12 goes away. I think that would be fitting.
All right, our next co-host. He's one quarter of the greatest college football podcast of all time. He's the pride of the Texas State Bobcats. He's my favorite football player of all time. Please welcome Hunter.
What's up?
Uh-oh, we're to the spinning wheel of doom.
Can you hear me?
All right.
Yep.
Let's kick
this
Hunter? Thing off first quarter here. Get back to the banners. All right. Well, when he shows up, we'll he's having internet issues, I think. He hasn't texted it yet, but we'll see what happens. All right, first quarter, Jude. It's just you and I, right? Isn't there a song that's just you and I? That's pretty good pregame. Not a bad first week in college football. I know that a lot of the games aren't going to be close. But let's go. First quarter is always salute to the service academies. Jude, tell me who you got this week.
Oh, Air Force. I got Air Force every week. They had a big win last week, and I'm pretty stoked. And this week they play the Sam Houston Bearcats, which is the same team I just spoke about earlier that played BYU pretty tough. I don't think they'll play Air Force and stuff. I think Air Force will come out and run all over them. They're definitely a running team, and I think they have 3 pass plays, even though they did go for 95 yards last week. But they're a running team, and their quarterback leads them. He's their leading runner. I don't know his first name, Larry, or I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but he's a good quarterback. He's a good quarterback for that offense. And I think that small teams, small schools like Sam Houston, they don't have, even though they may be coached well, I don't think they're going to have the athletes that can keep up with that running offense, the wishbone offense that Air Force runs. I think Air Force is going to run all over them. I think the final score will probably be somewhere like 35-7. So Sam Houston will finally score this week, even because they got shut out last week.
All right. Well, I didn't give the salute to the service academies their proper introduction. I apologize. What I meant to say was, this is our favorite segment of the broadcast. This is our
100%,
where we thank our service members, past and present. Can't thank you enough. And the only way we can thank you in college football terms is to talk about the teams and what they're going to do. And this week, my Coast Guard Academy is taking on Anna Maria College. Now, Anna Maria College is in, I just messed this up, I think it's in somewhere in Massachusetts, if I'm not wrong. Here, got some notes. I actually took notes, did some study on this team. All right, Anna Maria College is in Paxton, Massachusetts. And last year they went 5-4, and they lost a home game versus the Coast Guard Academy, 66-28. And the Coast Guard Academy is going to return the favor this year. They're going to beat Anna Maria again with a score of 45-28. And you can actually watch this game and stream it on the Coast Guard Academy football website. They got a little deal. So the Coast Guard Academy plays in Division III, football's finest. And they are part of the NEWMAC conference, and that's the New England Women's and Men's Athletic Conference. And them, along with the Merchant Marine Academy, they compete in this. They're both in the same conference and in college football's Division III. So they're not playing for NFL rides, NFL contracts. They're playing because they love to play football and they want to serve our country. So, with that said, Coast Guard Academy takes down Anna Maria 45-28. Gets their first one in the year. They start the season 500, 1-1. All right.
Nice.
Looking
so that. Are they going to be televised? You need a streaming service or something?
Yeah, you got to watch them on their website. But I think that the Secretary's Cup, which we watched last year, is definitely going to be on ESPN, which I probably still won't have by the time that that happens. All right, let's see if it works this time. I'll introduce him after he talks. Are you there? Can you hear me?
Howdy.
Thumbs up. All right. Can I give you an intro now?
I'm here, aren't I?
All right. Our next co-host is 1/4 of the greatest college football podcast of all time. He's the pride of the Texas State Bobcats. He's my favorite football player of all time. Please welcome Hunter.
What's up?
What is up, bud? All right. So on a scale of 1 to Ted Nugent, how excited were you for the Texas State Bobcats beating Baylor last week?
It's the biggest win in school history, so pretty excited.
I was hoping you'd say like Rusty Shackelford. That's a King of the Hill reference.
Got a lot going on right now, right? Trying to multitask here.
Do you need to go? You good?
No.
All right, Hunter. We're doing some salute the service academies. I got this week. Delaware State's traveling to Michie Stadium there in West Point, New York. They're going to take on the Black Knights of the Hudson. I think Army comes out of a really kind of a bad loss to ULM, and they beat Delaware State 28-7. Now, this is something cool. So if you want to watch the Salute to the Service Academy games, or the Service Academy games, all 3 Division I Service Academies will be playing on CBS Sports Network this Saturday. First game kicks at 11. The next game kicks at 2:30, and the final game, I think, kicks at 7. So you'll get to watch all 3 Service Academies. You don't have to change the dial. Just leave it on CBS Sports Network. No other games matter, right? End of stream. We'll see you next week. Kidding.
All times Eastern? Man, I gotta get up early.
No, those are Central times. You're gonna this is 9 a.m. Eastern for you on the first game. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and take Army. Army did not look good against ULM. ULM came to play. They beat Army around. I'm kind of hanging to see if Lindsey will show up about the Merchant Marine Academy game. If not, then whenever he shows up, we'll have him add his. Hunter Wagner's traveling to Annapolis to the Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium in Annapolis, Maryland. They're going to take on the Midshipmen of Navy at 2:30 p.m. Central Standard Time on CBS Sports Network. What are we going to see? Navy's had a week off to travel to Ireland, although they did take a kind of a lump from Notre Dame. They did look good. New coach looked really, really good. The team looked good. Not to slight Coach Ken at all, but the new staff looked decent. What do you think? What do you think Navy's going to do this weekend?
I mean, they play Wagner, so Wagner is not looking like it's a good team. Just off the rip, I haven't looked that much into Wagner. I saw that they lost to Fordham, who's a very good FCS team, by the way, 46-16. I don't really see it's not like Wagner couldn't stop Fordham from running the ball. They couldn't stop Fordham from throwing the ball. I don't really see anything from Wagner's defense that said, oh man, a styles make matchups thing here for where they could have a victory over Navy. I don't really particularly see it. Especially if Navy runs that. It's veer. It's split veer is what Navy runs now. Kind of moving away from that true triple option, Paul Johnson triple option offense to a split back veer offense. They will probably go back into that true triple option. I think they did a little bit of split back veer just because Notre Dame couldn't possibly have practiced for that, right? Never been ran by Navy in the last 15 years. They run true triple option versus split back veer. Grant Chestnut's talked about using true triple Johnson style triple options. So we should expect to see a little bit more of that this week. I think beyond that, I feel like Navy just beats Wagner pretty soundly. I don't think that what Notre Dame did really well against Navy was run the ball. Navy just couldn't handle that level of linemen, that offensive line, and those big running backs. Wagner has none of that. Not to degrade Wagner at all. They're not a particularly great team, at least right now. Maybe as the season goes on, they will get better. A little bit of insider knowledge on Wagner. They're one of the worst funded FCS programs by their school. They don't really get a lot of help, which is unfortunate. I like to see all student athletes given the most resources to succeed, but it's unfortunate the school doesn't view their team as that valuable. It's okay. I just think Navy kind of beats them up, and
All right,
I would
so-
say Navy 28, Wagner 7.
All right, so I have a prediction on this game, but we have a question from East Coast Kenny. Says, ask your son what Wagner loves. It's a Marine Corps joke.
Yeah, I can't respond to that. But
Does it look like a eggplant?
it's another name for rooster.
Chicken? It's a chicken?
Maybe. It's got a C and a
Pollo.
K in
They
it.
love pollo. Take the L out of clock and you got your answer.
It's a gallo.
All right. So I think Navy's gonna. I think Navy's gonna win.
A bunch of people watching, man. Come on, let's all hit that like button.
Yeah, we got 10 watching right now. Hey, that's pretty good numbers there.
Hey,
Gotta say hi
let's
to
go.
JWC Tech, Raging Cajun Garage, Power Stroke.
We
Group.
laugh. We laugh at those numbers, but man, it's like triple last year.
Hey, we're 12 right now. I mean, like we had
I
streams.
mean,
last
how
year
many
with
are my
Hibachi.
mom, though, is the question.
I don't know. She's not watching at all, but I can promise you
I
that.
can promise
I
you, none of them are besides my phone are from my household. Well, I don't know. Surfadude's got his out. He might be watching.
All right, so we got another game, and Jude already talked about the Air Force Academy. He's got the Air Force Academy beating Sam Houston. I've got the Air Force Academy beating Sam Houston, but it's going to be a close one. And this is the 7 p.m. game, and this coming from NRG Stadium in Houston. So they're not having to travel to Sam Houston State's campus in the lovely, wonderful town of I'm drawing a blank here. I should know this. It would be they call it Prison City. This is what I know that it has. It's in Huntsville, Texas, where the prison is literally located on the campus of the university, and the fans stand up in the middle of the stands, and they give a big flex. They do a big flex in the stand. They go, "Welcome to Prison City." Like it's
This
a
was
sign
in the
of
rugby
pride.
stadium, by the way, which was almost better than the football stadium. But
Yeah, and they do take rugby pretty serious at Sam Houston State. But these are most of the Sam Houston State football players were the ones that were there doing the Prison City. I think Air Force wins this game, but I think it's gonna be a close one. I think it's gonna be 24-21, and there's gonna be
really?
plenty of yards gained. Yes,
I
Sam
know
Houston
Sam
State's a pretty good team. They're
They
pretty good
played great defense against BYU, and that's why I call BYU my big loser of the game. I thought they would have beat them more handily than what they did, but man, I think Air Force is going to run right through them. Man, I think what I say 35-7.
Yeah. Well, the running game, I think it's going to play to Sam Houston's favor. Or yes, I think the running game kind of plays Sam Houston's favor, but it's going to be a game. It's going to be 100. Well, there's going to be late in the evening, so it'll be a little bit cooler. But and they're going to be inside of
Be hot.
NRG. But no, they're going to be in NRG.
oh, the NRG, be
Yeah.
alright.
All right, Ken's checking out. Ken, good to see you.
Hey.
Thanks for stopping by.
Night, kid.
All right. And then we'll let Lindsay, whenever he comes on here in a little while, we'll let him talk about that. We're getting pretty close to the end of the first quarter. About a minute to go, the end of the first quarter. We're going to get salute the service academies. I feel pretty well about service academies. I'm picking a 5-0 weekend. That's what I'm saying. 5-0. All service academies are going to win. So
That'd be a great weekend. That'd be a great first quarter next week.
yeah. And hopefully we got a lot of good stuff from winners and losers. All right, well, let's go ahead and we're into the second quarter here. Let's go ahead and kick things off. This is where the meat and potatoes of the podcast is going to come from. What we're going to do in the second quarter is I'm going to talk to the panelists, and then we are going to go and we're going to kind of do what I'm going to call rapid fire. I'm going to give each one of them. They're going to go and pick 3 games talk about those 3 games in rapid fire succession, and then we'll kind of just walk around the conferences. We won't do every conference all at once. We'll just do 3 at a time. Kind of give all the panelists the opportunity to talk, and then it'll break down. So it should be a pretty decent segment here. Let's get back over to the comments. I see we got a new comment, and somehow I broke it. JWC Tech, thanks for showing up, bud. All right, so let's start with the Friday night game, because the Louisville game's going on right now, and I don't have the ACC in the, but it's all right. Friday night game, I have a couple of Big Ten teams playing. Indiana State travels to Indiana. Indiana defense played well against Ohio State last week. How good is Indiana's team versus how bad was Ohio State's offense? It's kind of yet to be seen, but I'm picking Indiana to beat Indiana State 24-10, and Indiana State, they're going to. I was looking at my next game. My next game is on Friday night as well, and that's Illinois going to Lawrence, Kansas, and they're going to take on the Kansas Jayhawks. The Jayhawks didn't have their quarterback last week. Hopefully he'll be back this week, maybe not. I don't know, but I'm going to pick Illinois and their ability to run the football. Illinois' dog on this one, but they're going to win the game 21-17. And then finally, this really should go into the category of games that don't matter. Youngstown State is trying to the Horseshoe in Columbus, Ohio. They're going to take on Ohio State, and Ohio State's going to get off the schneid, and they're going to win 42-14. All right, Hunter, give me some Fun Belt news here. Give me 3 games from the Fun Belt, but you can't talk about Texas State because that's going to be one of our head-to-head games in the fourth quarter.
All right.
And you can't talk about James Madison either.
So Fun Belt game 1. Actually, that's a good game though. So great. I can't talk about a game that I think they'd win. Awesome.
All right. We're going to talk about it in the fourth quarter.
Okay. So Fun Belt game 1 that I'll bring up, because it could end up being an exciting game, is Troy at Kansas State. I know. Kansas State's number 15 in the country, dominant offensive line, at least on paper. But Troy has, right now, just by the numbers, the best rushing attack in the country. They have the best by the numbers running back, and actually a great running back in Kamani Vidal. He's a big-bodied, 5'10", I believe, 5'11", 220, 230-pound running back. He's a big dude, and he runs hard. He is hard to tackle. He's hard to stop, and he seeks contact. Real, almost not Earl Campbell like, but not too far off, where he will hit people and drive them off his body and keep moving. It's pretty good stuff. Troy is probably the best team in the Sun Belt right now, as much as it hurts to say. Kansas State is looking to defend their Big 12 title this season, and I watched their game against Southeast Missouri State, and they dominated Southeast Missouri State on the scoreboard. But you watch the game, Southeast Missouri State had a lot of opportunities to go and keep that game close to their chest, and they kind of lost it. I think Troy has the ability, the coaching, and the players to make this an interesting game and give themselves a real shot to beat K-State. I think K-State wins, but I think it'll be a pretty exciting game. It'll be a fast game. Both these teams love to run the ball. So this game will probably, set the record for fastest college football game ever played. But I would say I say K-State wins, but only by a hair, 17-14 K-State. But it'll be an exciting 17-14, I think. If you love old school smash mouth football, this is your game from the Sun Belt this week. And continuing on.
All right, we need to get a little more rapid on your next.
A little faster. All right, Marshall at East Carolina, rivalry game. I don't know if they're necessarily rivals, but I don't know why they wouldn't be. They should be, in my opinion. Anyway. Could be a good game. East Carolina's well coached. Marshall's even better coached. I think Marshall goes on the road, beats the Pirates. Call it 28-14. Marshall looks really good in this one. And then finally, App State at North Carolina. This game is always exciting. Mac Brown coached at both these schools. If you got 3 teams on the field, you'd have Texas there too, because it'd be funny. Anyway, App State, North Carolina. North Carolina's defense is vastly improved, and I think that this game is an opportunity for them to prove it. Also, I think the Tar Heels are going to come out pissed because the NCAA made a terrible ruling today saying that Tez Walker could not play football this season, even though they let players like JT Daniels transfer to 9 different schools and play for half the teams in the Big 12. So I don't know.
Keaton
Uh,
Slovis too.
yeah. So I'm gonna say North Carolina wins this game, 38-27. I think App State fights, but I think at the end of the day, you get some scoregami type score, 38-27. I think it'd be exciting. Don't get me wrong, but a low 11-point victories don't sound exciting to me. They do, and I think it's a good game. But I think
All right,
North Carolina
Jude.
wins it.
Give me some rapid fire from the Pac-12, and you can't talk about Colorado.
Can't talk about who.
Colorado.
All right.
It's another one of our fourth quarter games.
Cool. First game I want to talk about is Wisconsin Badgers 1-0 at the Washington State Cougars. Wisconsin probably got a favorite. I'd say 60% of the nation would probably pick Wisconsin, but you cannot sleep on Cameron Ward, man. This dude was a good quarterback. He played for, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, Incarnate Word. Is that how you pronounce that school? And the dude threw like 77 touchdowns versus 14 interceptions. Last year he came in at Washington State. He had a little run there where they were comparing him to Caleb Williams like early mid-season. But I think he ended up with like 24 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Don't sleep on Washington State. I'm going to pick them to upset the number 19 Badgers this week. Keep the Pac-12 undefeated up until that point. I'll say 27-24. Next game, I'm going to leave the Pac-12 if that's okay, but I'm going to talk about a big game of two ranked teams, but it's not coming from the Texas area.
Save that one for the fourth quarter there, Lane.
The Tulane
You got to save it for the fourth quarter. You got to save it for the fourth quarter.
Tulane and Ole Miss?
That's
All right, I'll say that.
Yeah, that's our fourth quarter one.
All right, I'll say that one for the fourth quarter. So let me talk about my USC Trojans. Pac-12 is not going to go undefeated because Pac-12 has to play the Pac-12. Stanford is going to lose to USC handily, 55-6. Caleb Williams is going to throw for 5 touchdowns, probably all in the first half, and Miller Moss will probably have 2 touchdowns in the second half. They're just going to stomp Stanford. Stanford doesn't have a chance. Look out real quick, Oregon to walk all over Texas Tech Red Raiders. I don't think they stand a chance against Oregon.
Time out.
Don't give a score yet. Save the score for the fourth quarter.
Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah.
All right.
No, it's all right. It's all right. We're a work in progress, right? So
sorry about that. And I'm gonna pick upset of the week because nobody's probably picking San Diego State to beat the UCLA Bruins, but the Aztecs are going to come out. They're going to be firing on all cylinders, and they are going to defeat the UCLA Bruins, and that will be the Pac-12's first loss.
Give me the score.
All right. San Diego State 27, UCLA 24.
Ooh. What was the score in the USC game again that you were talking about?
I think I said 55-7. It might be 75-7 or 6. 75-6.
Let's do 50.
Considering that
let's do
USC hasn't held a
55-7.
single team to less than 7 points, to less than 14 points under Lincoln
All right.
Riley's leadership,
Hey,
I don't see that
You
happening.
gotta wait. You gotta wait till rapid fire, or you gotta wait till head to head before we go and we start
Okay.
talking smack. Everybody gets to talk about their own conference here. Everybody gets to talk about their own conference. Well, then I'll call the games in head to head. All right. Where's
All right.
Lindsay at? Has anybody seen him? Is he over there? No, he's not here yet. We're looking for him. All right, Hunter.
Must be
We
the
got.
North Pole.
Give me 3 more games from Hunter,
From the what?
the Big 12.
Big 12. The little 12 or the Big 12?
Oh, whatever you call it.
All right. Some games to watch. Obviously, got to talk about Cyhawk, or as we'll call it today, the showdown at the poker table. So, both teams, really, really big gamblers here. I'm betting this to be a really high stakes game. Anyway, the odds are stacked against both teams. Real big spread, over and under all the way. Anyway, I'll stop. Cyhawk, it's always a good game. Well, it's got a lot of meaning to it. It's never good. This game's always hard to watch in a terrible football kind of way. Both teams seem to play down to each other every year, and I've never seen a single team blow the other out. It's always like, it's win 7-2. So Iowa at Iowa State. Iowa's offense looks improved. I won't say vastly, but it looks like they know what offense is. Iowa State is still. They had a good game from Rocco Brecht. He played kind of okay. He didn't play good. He played serviceable. Um, I give the edge to Iowa here. It's in state. You'll see half that stadium will be black and gold. The other half will be, disappointing. I mean, orange and red. Anyway, so yeah, I'll
Pick
give
a
the edge
score.
to Iowa. They got a better 5-2.
5-2. Wow.
So you're definitely taking the under. All right. So I actually picked this game. This is one of my Big Ten games, but it's all right. I thought Iowa's
Yeah, we can
offense
both
looked
talk
pretty
about
good last weekend, and I don't trust that Iowa State's got anybody to play. I think they got like the water boy and half the volleyball team to show up last week to help them out. I'm saying Iowa's going to win this game 24-10. This happens at 2:30 Central Time on Fox. This is a marquee game of the day. I know it's a big deal if you like to watch defense. It hasn't impressed of late, but this could be the year that Iowa's offense kind of turns on. And if Iowa's offense is good, watch out. They definitely have one of the best defenses, if not the best defense in the Big Ten. So definitely have to watch out. This is going to happen at Jack Trice Stadium in Ames, Iowa. It's a lovely part of the world, I think.
It's a prison.
All right, Hunter. Give me another Big 12 game.
Game that could bust 100 points total. SMU at Oklahoma. Oklahoma showed off that they may actually be good this year. We'll see. SMU has a great offense again. SMU's come off the big hive, getting into a tower conference. So I think they're going to go out and try to prove themselves they belong in the next tier of college football. Against Oklahoma. This game's at 6 p.m. at the Palace on the Prairie. I think that excuse my roommate watching the NFL. Anyway, so I would say I give Oklahoma the edge in this game. I think it's a high-scoring affair. I call it 66-52.
Oh, wow. You think? Who's the coach at SMU?
What's his name? I should know this. I almost always know. He was at Miami the year before Cristobal took over. Rhett Lashley. Gosh, I hate that I forgot that for a second. I thought he did a good job.
That's why Hunter's roommates were getting excited because Pat Mahomes threw a touchdown to the Detroit.
He threw a touchdown to Detroit.
Hey, that's what I need. That's what I need. I told him the Lions are going to win. I need that.
Are you going to be able to go to dinner this weekend if they don't win?
Yeah. I'm not betting money on it.
All right. I'm making a joke.
I don't get paid enough for that. Well, I do.
All right. I'm going to hop back over here to the Big Ten.
Oh, I got one more game for you.
Oh, all right. Well, let me do a couple and then we'll save you for last. We're getting kind of long on the tooth here. All right. I got the Richmond Spiders are traveling to Spartan Stadium in East Lansing, Michigan. The Spiders put up a decent fight, but Michigan State's offense and defense is going to be too much for them. Michigan State wins 31-21, and then we have UTEP traveling to Chicago to take on Northwestern. And if you're going to talk about some bad footballs we played, this is going to be the game where you're going to see some rough games. All right, UTEP has not looked good the first two games of the season. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say they're going to take another loss, and UTEP loses to Northwestern 17-10. But don't be surprised if the game is 7-3. So it was really tough to watch. And then Western Michigan travels to upstate New York to take on Syracuse in the JMA Wireless Dome. Syracuse is going to win this game because they play good defense, and the Dome is not a friendly place to play. 28-7. Jude, you got anything else from the Pac-12 or the Mountain West that you want to bestow upon us?
Yeah, I got a couple quick games. I think Oklahoma State's going to beat Arizona State at Arizona State. I'm going to call that 31-21. I'm going to take Cal upsetting Auburn in a shootout, 42-40. I like Arizona at Mississippi State, even though they're a 9-point dog. And I really like Washington to destroy Tulsa. Michael Penix Jr. He's legit. He's a good quarterback, and they're probably going to drop 60 on him. And Tulsa might have 17.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. All right, Hunter, we got about 5 minutes left, but go ahead and hit us with another game.
So, real quick, another game to watch. Cincinnati at Pittsburgh. This is technically a rivalry game, and fun fact, it had the heaviest trophy, but they're not going to be just exchanging anymore. It's like a 70-something pound trophy. Hilarious stuff. Classic Big East matchup. I think it could be a good game. We'll see what happens there at Acrisure Stadium in Pittsburgh. It should be renamed Heinz Field. I will take Pitt winning 27-24. I think it's a good game. Pitt, Cincinnati, another one to watch.
Yep. And that happens at 5:30 on the CW network. Home to the NASCAR Xfinity Series starting in 20 and 24. So
He just had to mention
all right.
it.
Hey,
real
that's 2
quick,
quarters and a pregame in the books. We can still in the halftime a little bit. Yeah, we can still in the halftime a little bit. Go ahead.
No, I just want to say from the Mountain West real quick. I think Fresno State's going to beat Eastern Washington 44-14. One of the other games that I looked at is a measuring stick. We saw what Oregon did to Portland State. We're going to see what Portland State does at Wyoming, and we're going to see how good or bad Wyoming really is. And I'm going to leave the UNLV Michigan game for you.
All right. Yeah, it's going to be a close one with about 5 minutes to kick off. That's the closest that UNLV is going to be to Michigan all day.
It'll be 0-0.
Yeah, we're at halftime. That 40 minutes flies by pretty quick there. I'm not going to lie.
It does.
So we kind of dipped into halftime a little bit, but that's all right. Hey, each of y'all text me your picks that y'all are making. That way I can keep track of it. I have a sheet here. If you want to see how much I nerd out, these are my notes, and I color coordinate everything. So that's how serious I take
It doesn't
this
come
deal.
close to me, but it's a good try.
No, it's not. I'm old and I'm not very intelligent. So, but that's where we nerd out. All right, let's talk about our Wide Right CFB giveaway. And what you're gonna win is you're gonna win a Wide Right. Hey, language, come on. This is a family show. You're on. Don't cuss in front of my son. All right. So what you're gonna win is you're gonna win a shirt like this, Wide Right CFB, in the size of your choice. You're not gonna win just a $25 gift card to Buffalo Wild Wings. You're gonna win a $50 gift card, or two 25s to Buffalo Wild Wings. We're gonna put up. This is gonna be our midseason giveaway. We're gonna announce times and dates this Saturday. We'll get everything kind of squared away, and then I think we're also giving away a small tumbler designed by my wife. Oh, and a bocce ball. How to have a bocce ball, right? You can see the bocce balls. I've shown them off. So, a lot of prizes there for our mid-season giveaway, and then we'll have our end-of-season giveaway. What we'll do is we're going to have a video come out. You have to watch that video. You're going to have to comment in that video, and then you're going to have to be present on the live stream to win, right? You must be present to win. We're not going to. It's not going to be like the Coil Tools live stream where, you show up 12 seconds late and you win another prize. You win an alternative prize. So,
Hey, Joey Preciado says hi.
what's up, Joey?
Hello, Joey.
Joey, you got anything for Sac State? Sac State do anything this weekend?
He's all bummed out because they lost their coach to Stanford.
I'd be bummed out too.
Maybe if they paid the guy too, it would help.
All right, well, so let's talk about a couple of games that might not get talked about because Lindsay's not going to be here. Let's hop over to that ACC, and we'll just kind of fill the void in halftime here. And I'm just going to ask y'all a couple of things. Tell me what happens here. Eastern Kentucky at Kentucky. Hunter, I know you're a quasi Kentucky fan. Tell me what's going to happen to this game.
Yeah, don't put words in my mouth like that. There's not really much to it. Eastern Kentucky got dominated last week. I don't really see them changing anything massively where they don't get dominated this week. Kentucky played down, I believe, last week. They played down a little bit to Ball State for the first half, and then they ran away with it. I think same thing. I don't think they played down to Eastern Kentucky at all this week. They were mad that they beat Ball State 44-14. So I think they're gonna go out and beat Kentucky 52-7. Eastern Kentucky 52-7. Or that math doesn't work. However it works out. 50 plus points to 7 points against Eastern Kentucky. Yeah, I mean the Colonels are a somewhat good FCS team, but that level between somewhat good in the FCS and middle of the, slightly above average in the SEC, it's kind of far apart.
All right, Jude. LSU's got to come off the slide here against Grambling this week. They're hosting Grambling at 6:30 p.m. from Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And Tiger Stadium's also known as Death Valley. How ruckus is Death Valley going to be this weekend? For the
Oh,
first home
man.
game? Even though coming off a loss, just a straight beatdown.
I think Grambling State has less than 1% chance to win. Oops. I just put that. I was just looking at their stats. I had to tell you we were talking about that game. Yeah, I think they have less than 1% chance to win. I think I'm all over them, dude. Jaden Daniels, that's a dude from my area. He's out here in Southern California. He grew up walking distance for me. They're gonna probably put a beat down. I don't even think there's a spread on this game. I'll say LSU mid-60s, Grambling State 3.
All right. You know him, you
I'm gonna
love
jump
him.
in
I got to introduce
real
our
quick
next
and
co-host here.
I was gonna say Grambling's not going to score a point.
All right. We'll say it, and then I'll
Yeah,
introduce.
three was
That's
generous.
All right, our next
Appreciate it.
co-host is the longest-standing assistant to the president of the Doug Flutie fan club. He's the beast from the east. He says, "Bring on your tea party. Please welcome Lindsey Coyle."
Wow, that was a rousing introduction. Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Wait till I do this. Macho Man Randy Savage. That's all I-
Excellent.
Do the stinking Queen wave.
Oh yeah, you do. You have to do the Queen Wave, Lindsey.
Oh,
Or we could all golf clap. Should we all golf clap? Everybody golf clap. Oh man. Oh, let's just give it.
Sorry, I'm
one more
late,
time,
guys.
Let's give the audience a golf clap. Let's give the audience a golf clap, everyone. Comment of the
parade
night
wave.
gets a golf clap. Hey, that's a good idea. Let's do that. Comment of the night gets a golf clap. Come up with your best comment.
Oh.
Well, how you doing there? Did you take a nap or something, or what's going on?
No. No, I just got home from work not too long ago, and
Nice.
shoveled some food in my guts, and now I'm here. It's been a long
There
day.
you go. All right, so you've missed everything, but we've got
dinner.
about 2 minutes here, Lindsay. Give me your salute the service game. Merchant Marine
I
Academy's
was-
playing this weekend.
Yeah, I was stoked to see that the Merchant Marine Academy won their first game last week. I'm expecting really good things from them because they're carrying forward their successes from last year when they went 9-1. I wouldn't be surprised if they went undefeated because I think their schedule is no more difficult this year than it was last year. So I'm expecting them to pull out a good win this week. I'm going to predict a score of 42-28.
All right. They're going to take home that NUMAC championship. And once again, NUMAC championship stands for New England Women's and Men's Athletic Conference. Thank you. How did I know that? I did my homework. this
NEAC.
week. Yeah, they changed it. All right. We're kind of winding down halftime. So I'm going to throw this out here. I wish I'd done it when we had 12 people here. So we have about 5 interviews lined up. But I was thinking we have to hit a milestone subscriber before I'm going to bring on the first interview. We have plenty of weeks of college football to go. I have 5 former college or current college players that I can bring on. So what I want to do is I want the panel to throw out a number that we have to hit at subscribers before we bring on our first guest.
How
What do
many
y'all want that
subscribers
one
do we
to
have right now?
Let's get 9 more, man. Let's hit 50.
All right, we gotta get to
50
50.
yeah,
before
50 is
we
a good
bring on-
number.
All right, we're gonna get to 50. We gotta get to 50, and I can pull the trigger and get any one of our guests right now. So we got to get to 50. All right, that's the gauntlet. Gauntlet. We're going to throw down the challenge here. All right, got to get to 50 before we have our first guess. With that said, we're going to come out of the halftime into the third quarter, and I'm going to have a good story. And I told Jude about this, and Hunter's going to know this story because he was part of it. But is everybody ready for story time with Cass? All right. I'm going to give another good story. Next week, if any one of the co-hosts wants to tell a story that they can, as long as I approve. But
I'm hoping next week we
I
hit
have
that.
plenty of
that
stories.
top of the
None of you will
streets.
approve, but
no, it's not 50-ish, Bachi. It's 50. All right. So when I told the story of Hunter last week, and so this week is kind of a story about me that leads into what I'm going to call the greatest season, the greatest winless season, right? And Hunter,
oh
I think
god,
Hunter's gonna.
oh
Know about
god.
this one. All right. So,
I like
so
it.
I got into coaching whenever Hunter was young, when he was about 9 years old, and I was trying to find what kind of coach I was. When you coach youth football, there's a win at all costs coach, and then there's a coach that plays the fair game, and that sometimes can be detrimental to a team as well. Finding out what kind of coach you want to be is something that you have to figure out right away. You definitely don't want to be a win at all costs coach unless you're coaching like a select team. That'd be one thing you could do. But it's real hard and it's real abrasive, and you rub people the wrong way a lot of times. There's also those coaches that want to give everybody the ball and have fun like that, and those teams are always 100% of the time going to suck. They're going to be god awful, and you're going to not like being a part of them. As a parent, I like being part of teams that win, whether or not my kid gets a lot of playing time or not. But I think that winning helps build character and expectations in sports. So I had to learn along the way. So eventually I come to this mold of, you got to take all these outside factors and you put them in, you blend them all together, and that becomes your process, right? When you hear that word, trust the process. Well, this is actually the process that you put together, things that you've learned. And so along the way, I had to learn the hard way, because I just didn't have the background in coaching, and I was coming from just a limited, football experience. And so we go along. And so Hunter's probably 8th grade or 9th grade, and we're playing in these spring leagues. Now these leagues are offensive driven leagues. These aren't defensive driven leagues, and you can really take a butt kicking pretty quick. Man, my story is tanking because we only got 2 people watching right now. Anyway, I digress. I'll speed it up and we'll start talking about football here. Anyhow, so I had to get into the season, and what I did is I brought in a philosophy, the building blocks of football, right? In order to have a successful season of football, you have to have 3 basic fundamentals. You have to be able to block, you have to be able to tackle, and you have to be in good condition, right? And we took all 3 of those things and we applied them. Now, we didn't win a single game this season, not a single one, right? But at the end of the year, you couldn't ask for a better team to walk out on the field. If you needed to go and get 5 yards or go get a crucial score, you could do it because these guys had the building blocks of football built into them. We knew how to run. We knew how to tackle. We knew how to block. There wasn't a team that we played against guys that were driving themselves to the games. And we were able to be successful because the building blocks of football. And Hunter will attest to this. And, I can't point to the weakest player on the team. We didn't have one. When they give you the team, like the team is only as strong as its weakest link. We didn't have a weak. We may not have had the fast superstars, but we didn't have any weak links. We could all tackle. We could all block. We could all move the ball. I mean, Hunter even caught a pass in the season. I don't know how he did it. I think it's because the quarterback threw the ball so hard at him, it just stuck in his hands. But it was a great season. What's that?
I had to jump for that catch.
Hey, you know what? You look like a superstar. But yeah. So, like I said, we didn't win, but we got it. So I'll give you the highlight of the season. We're playing this team Manor, and Manor always used to whip our butts, like handily. and Maynard's got a bunch of older kids on their team, and they're really, really fast. So we can't go and play this speed game. We have to play this physical game. So we line up and we run this power offense at Maynard, and I talk a tremendous amount of shit from the sideline the entire game. And I'm over here just like I'm over here. I never talk down about the other team. I always talk up about our players, and that was my rule. I'm never going to talk down about anybody competing in sports, because especially at the youth levels, it's poor sportsmanship. Now these guys are like 15, 16 years or 14 or 15 years old, so they're talking shit back to me, right? The kids are, but I can't do that. I can only build my guys up. I can't break the other guys down. And so I am over there just talking a tremendous amount of shit. The fans from the other team don't like me. They really didn't like me after that. And I think it helped out the kids. They relaxed during the game because they knew the crazy coaches over here on the sideline had their back no matter what. And they went out there and they played in possibly one of the best 8-on-8 games of all time. It's tackle football, but it's 8-man football, and there's some goofy
It's 12
rules.
or 11. It was 11, man. That
Was
last
it
season
11?
was 11,
I
man.
thought it was. Oh, was it 11? All right. So,
Yeah.
but it was a real offensive-driven league, and I mean, we hung in there with a really, really, really good team, really fast team, and we were up by 2 touchdowns at one point in the game, and then we just got on the other end of a turnover, and it really wasn't a turnover. The running back had gotten tackled and set the ball down, and when he got up, the referee called it a fumble, and it kind of put us in a really bad spot.
Oh
But,
man.
So
No,
I say
the
that's
worst
the
thing about
greatest-
that whole deal is that we had 11 players.
and
They
we
had
12.
like 20.
We had 12, and they had kids that drove themselves to the game. So, but it was all good. We had a good time, and I mean, I'm telling you, like every one of those kids that played on that team, when I saw them as high school football players, they remembered that. They didn't remember because we were winless. They remember because how much fun they had, and that's one thing we did. We always made sure we were going to have fun no matter what, right? Whether we win or lose, we're going to have a good time, and we're going to look for success in places that sometimes you don't find it. Anyways, that's our big story of the day. Not the greatest third quarter story of all time. I ran off most of the viewers by telling the story. Next week, we're going to have 50 subscribers, so we're going to have an interview with a superstar from the world of college football. Does that sound good? Everybody
Yes,
like
sir.
That's awesome.
that? All
Yeah.
right. We're gonna Lindsay, got any picks or anything you want to talk about in the third quarter before we get to the head-to-heads in the college in the fourth quarter?
No, we can move forward. I don't want to
All right.
keep you back.
Well, so there's the gauntlet. We know what we got to do. We got to have 50 subscribers by. I'm going to put a date of next Wednesday. If we get it by next Wednesday, I can still get them on, but they got to be in there by next Wednesday. Is everybody good? Tell
Yes.
everybody, Hunter, you can't come up with 9 different, burner channels. So
I'm
but
not
it'll be
going to.
exciting.
We'll go for that.
All right. So something I also wanted to talk about, and man, I really want to save these for the fourth quarter. We're gonna let's see. What do we get? We got a freestyle for a few minutes. I got nervous about my story, and I pulled the plug on a lot of the good details.
And caveat to that story, we played the quarterback that drove himself to the game later in high. Well, I played in high school, and he had gone from kind of typical like youth or middle school football. You had this guy that's super great. He was the starting quarterback for Maynard High School,
Wide receiver.
and no, he was a quarterback.
Michael
Well, they
Foster?
he played some quarterback because I know I tackled him.
Yeah.
Unless I tackled him on a screen. I can't remember. Anyway, we beat the life out of them. And they talked a bunch before the game how they were too fast for us because we were buoy. School full of kind of a team built around good defense and a very limited RPO offense, if you will. And we absolutely pummeled them, and it was a pretty good, satisfying end to a football saga with a team that I beat a little bit, but he had never beaten until I was gone. We never beat them together, so it was pretty fun to crush them like we did in high school when it really mattered.
Yeah, it was fun to watch because when we go to the Maynard game, I'm like, whatever happens, I just want them to win this game. If Hunter plays, he plays. If he doesn't, I don't care. I just want them to win this game and get off of the schneid against Maynard. They went out there and crushed them. It wasn't even close. Michael Foster caught a touchdown pass, and that was it. Yeah, he showed his speed, but it wasn't anything close. So it's funny because after Hunter leaves, the first season that he's gone, I get a new team and we go out, we crush Maynard, and it was one of their better teams. We beat them 45-9, and you're like, well, why'd you run up the score, Cass? Well, because the coaches talked a tremendous amount of shit before the game, and I was like, all right, so we're not going to necessarily run the score up, but maybe the first team on the offensive line stays in the whole game, which it did. And there's a little secret. I'll tell another story another day, but it'll make sense on that one. So we beat him handily. It was fun. But Hunter and I together, we never beat Maynard as a father-son duo, player-coach combo, or however you want to say. But Hunter as a high school athlete beat them handily. So, and he got tackled. So there you go. All right, about 5 minutes left in this quarter. 5 minutes left. No good stories today. Bad stories. Sorry I ran everybody off. Got 5 people watching. JWC Tech,
Hey.
Power Stroke Dude, Bocce's Blankets More, Christian, Coil Tools. Thanks, everybody, for showing or being on the panel. Bocce says she's going to leave us an audio file to put in on the soundboard for next week. So I'll give myself the boo for the story.
Nah, dude, I dug that story. I heard it twice today. I like
Hey, it's better than
Tell
two
you
of the
what.
stories I heard today at work. So
So, the whole deal is there are it's like details, and I'm talking about myself, and I don't like to do that all the time, but just most of the time. And I didn't want to bore everybody with the details. But we're gonna get to 50 subscribers next week, and we are gonna have a big college football star on our show, or maybe a little one. I don't know. Christian got a sack yesterday. Christian, awesome, bud. Good deal. You're playing middle linebacker too, I think, right?
he got a sack.
All right.
Very impressive.
Why don't we kick off the fourth quarter a little bit early? You want to kick the fourth quarter off? This is the good quarter here. We're going to go ahead and get all the... This is where everybody's going to dislike everybody. All right. We're coming at you about 2.5 minutes early. The fourth quarter, and I'm going to talk about this real quick. All right. So there's a real possibility this week that the traveling dogs beat the home teams in like 70% of these games. This could be a upset weekend for the dogs. This is like the first time I think that we could see like massive road teams win, like massive amounts of road teams win. We have Notre Dame traveling to North Carolina State, right? They're going to North Carolina State. And I got Notre Dame covering this game. They're going to win this game 34-21. You got to take the over on this one, and Notre Dame's going to have the outright win. All right, I'm going to bring up this next game. Now, this is interesting here. This is Utah's travels to number 14. Utah Utes travel to Waco to take on the Baylor Bears at 11 a.m. on ESPN. Now, Utah's only an 8-point favorite in this game, and the line on this game is 51 total points. So, do the Bears cover, or does Utah win the game outright and beat the spread and win? Hunter, what do you say? Head to head. So you got to make your answers quick.
Utah wins, covers the spread, 10-point win.
All right. Lindsay, what do you think? Utah versus Baylor.
Utah's going to win. And what's the spread on this one again?
8 points.
8 points. Yeah, we'll cover that.
Jude, what do you got?
Utah wins, covers the spread, wins by 30.
Ooh.
Nice. All right. Our next
Minimum.
game, I asked Jude to hold off on this one because I know he's itching to do this. I'm going to lean a different direction on this game than I originally thought. We have Nebraska traveling to, what is Colorado? Are they 20 or 25?
22.
2022, I think.
All right. the number 22 Colorado Buffaloes. This game's at 11 a.m. on Fox. So the spread on this game is only 3 points, and the total overall is 59.5. All right, this guy loves Deion Sanders more than Deion Sanders does. Jude, what's your take on this game? What do you got?
Matt Rule's a good coach, so I don't think that he's going to be out coached. It is Matt Rule, right, at Nebraska now?
Yep.
Yeah. I don't think he's going to be out coached. I just don't think he's got the dogs, because you need dogs when you're playing football, man. I don't put the C on my boys' team on their shoulders. I put D because I got dogs out there, and he proved that he had some dogs on Saturday. And I'm going to take Deion and his D and his dogs, even though this D didn't show up. But I'm going to take Colorado to win by 10.
All right. Give me a total score, or give me a score.
30-20.
30-20. All right, Hunter, what do you got on this game?
I think Nebraska keeps this thing close and a low-scoring affair. For as great as the offense of Colorado showed off, their defense didn't show up. I don't know that shows up again today. I'm going to go for an inept Nebraska and a Civ Colorado for a total score. I'll go with Nebraska on the win. I'll take Nebraska outright. Call it 14-10.
Oh,
Nebraska.
wow.
14-10. All right. Lindsay, what do you got on this Nebraska at Colorado game?
I'm
The
going
line
to take
is-
an opposite.
the
I'm
line
going
is-
to take an
is a
opposite perspective
3-point
from Hunter. I think that neither team's defense is going to do very good, so I'm going to look for a higher scoring game. And seeing as how Colorado is now ranked for the first time since 2020, when they spent a very brief time on the ranking board, and have only finished.
About
I mean-
6 hours. It's about 6 hours till they lost their first game.
In 2018, they were ranked for 2 weeks, so I think that they've got some very positive things going for them now, and I can't wait to see them take on Nebraska, because I do believe they will win. I think that their defense, though, on both teams is going to be a little lopsided. I'm very bullish right now on Colorado. I would look for them to win by. I'm going to say it's going to be a tight one. I'm going to say 6 points, but I think the score is going to be. Well, maybe not 6 points, maybe 45-38.
All right.
Man, if Colorado stays in games like that all year, man, that's just going to make Deion's legend even better. I mean, he winning shootouts, winning these close games. Oh, man. People are predicting him to be the next coach of the Dallas Cowboys already.
Wow.
Let's get to game 2 of his D1 season. All right.
I know,
I'm going to go. I'm going to say that the Buffs cover, but they don't hit the total. They don't hit 59.5 points, and they're going to get the outright win. I think they score a late touchdown to separate the game from Nebraska. I think it's going to be pretty close going into the fourth quarter. I think Colorado ekes out a late touchdown, 31-17, and you can take the under on the amount of plays that Travis Hunter is going to get. There's no way that Nebraska is going to allow Colorado to run that many offensive plays. Matt Rule's going to slow the game way down. I can promise you that. There's not gonna be a lot of plays in that game. But I think Colorado somehow ekes out a late score, kind of makes that big separation, but they're not gonna cover, and they will get the outright win. All right. I'm gonna travel. If you're a gambler, this is a gambler's game. You're a degenerate if you're gambling on this game. But let's go to this one. We have James Madison. The Dukes are traveling in-state to Virginia, 11 a.m. on ESPNU. If you have Charter Spectrum, you're not going to be able to see this game. So you're just going to have to trust us, the panel, that we know what we're talking about. The Dukes are a 6-point favorite with a 40.5 point total there. So I'm going to give it to Mr. Sunbelt here. Hunter, what are the Dukes doing this weekend?
They're going to Charlotte, I think, and beating the Virginia Cavaliers. The over-under of -40, I guess that they expect Duke to make that all themselves, or not Duke, James Madison to make that all themselves, because my God, is Virginia bad at offense. Oh, I get it. They're playing an SEC team, but they couldn't have been given better field position if they paid for it, and they might have, and they couldn't do anything. Virginia's offense looks just awful, with a coach that is a offensive guru supposedly. Um, can't manufacture anything on the line. Um, can't manufacture a watchable run game, a, a definitive pass game. I think Virginia is in for a rude awakening. I think James Madison beats Virginia not only by 6.5. I'm going to go with 17. I say that this game is 34-17. James Madison. They beat down Virginia. Virginia. The only reason Virginia scores because they have some four-star athletes that James Madison unfortunately doesn't have. If this was equal talent, James Madison beat Virginia by about 1,000. This Virginia team is bad. James Madison is good, and you're gonna see it's gonna look like an SEC team playing an ACC team, other than the one that we saw. It'll look like an ACC team playing an SEC team. I don't know. It's gonna be bad. It's gonna be a beatdown, and I think
All
James Madison delivers that beatdown to Virginia.
All right, Jude. What is James Madison Duke? What are they going to do to the Cavaliers of Virginia?
I'm going to use the exact same words. I'm just using it's going to be a beatdown. That score sounds about right. 34-17, 38-20, something like that. Yeah, Virginia's not a good football team. And
all right,
James,
Lindsay.
and you mean that you put you made a very good point when you said if talent being equal, because right now James Madison is going to win not because of talent, because of coaching and the way they play. If James Madison had the athletes, a few 4 stars, mixed in with their 2 and 3 stars, I think they would run away with that game. Just like Hunter said, 100% agree with his entire synopsis.
All right, Lindsay, this is on your coastline here. Give me a quick brief synopsis here. What you got?
I'm going to pick the Dukes to win by 2 touchdowns. I think it'll be a 24-10 game. The Virginia is not as good as you might think on paper, and I think that they're going to be deficient against the Dukes because there's simply enough inequality in this matchup that's going to favor the Dukes way too much. They have a better advantage over them in their physicality. I think they're going to play a tougher game, and I would look for a 2-touchdown spread on the game, 24-10.
All right, I'm this is a degenerate. The Dukes are going to hit the trifecta. The Dukes are going to win this game outright. They're going to cover the spread, and we're going to take the over. Dukes win 24-17 easily. All right, our next game. All right, I'll give JWC Tech a little love here. Michigan beats UNLV 55-12, and I gave the 12 as a gift. I really think Michigan's going to beat them about 66-0. So, all right. Let's head to the SEC with a current SEC opponent versus a former SEC opponent. The number 22 Ole Miss Rebs travel to New Orleans to take on the number 24 Tulane Green Wave. Now, remember, Tulane was in the SEC originally. Jude, you're Lane's guy, right? You love you some Lane train. What's going to happen here? The Ole Miss is a 7.5 point favorite, and 67 total points are predicted. What do you have the Rebs doing on this game?
I take the Rebs, running Rebels. I take the over, and I keep Jackson Dart as my dark horse Heisman Trophy winner.
What's your total score?
I think the Ole Miss might hit the over themselves, but I'll keep it 59-13. Right. I don't think Tulane. I think the Ole Miss defense is going to start turning it up a little bit, and I think their offense is just kill it.
All right, Lindsay, what do you got on this Ole Miss Tulane game?
I think Ole Miss's defense is still trying to figure itself out. They don't have a solid execution of the game plan, and is going to be their undoing, but not by much. I'm predicting a closer score of 41-38 Tulane.
Ooh, you took Tulane.
Yeah.
All right, Hunter. I know you're a big numbers make matches guy, but you're also kind of a Lane Kiffin fan. So let me know what you got on this Ole Miss Tulane game.
Real quick, this is a great quarterback duel. These are two very well. Jackson Dart had a good game. He has a great potential. Michael Pratt's proven to be a good quarterback just in general. So I think this could be a very good quarterback game. I don't think either team's defense is going to be the reason either of them win. I think it's going to rely on which quarterback has the ball last, and I just think, unfortunately, for a team that I would love to say wins this game, um, as much as I want to see Tulane win this game, I think Ole Miss just has that talent gap, and Jackson Dart will have that ball last, and I say they win it 45-38.
All right, I'm gonna go with on this one. The Ole Miss is the Rebs are gonna cover. They're gonna take the over, and they're gonna get the outright win. They win 42-31. I think it's gonna be a good game, but I think Ole Miss is gonna get one of these real late, big separation touchdowns. Just Tulane's offense is just really, really, really good. All right, on to our next game, and this is gonna be my lock of the week. Number 23 Texas A&M Aggies travel to Miami. Actually, it's not going to be my lock of the week. Everybody knows who my lock of the week is going to be, but it's going to be my other lock of the week, my second lock of the week. The number 23 Texas A&M Aggies travel to Miami to take on the Hurricanes. Jude, what you got in this game?
Oh, Miami's got nothing for Texas A&M. This is another one of those road teams that you were talking about that's going to go in and I'll take Texas A&M. 35, Miami 14.
All right, Hunter, what do you got in this Texas A&M Miami game?
I think both teams are gonna really focus on running the ball. Miami's got an excellent secondary, and A&M. I mean, it's Bobby Petrino. He loves to run the ball as much as he'd like to throw it. So I would say look for a run-heavy game. I think A&M's athletes on the outside make the difference, though. And I'm going to say A&M 28, Miami 17.
Lindsay, what do you got on this one?
Miami's going to have to contain the A&M passing game for this to work in their favor, and they won't be able to do it. They've proven that already. So I'm going to look for A&M to pull this one out. They got bigger guns on offense, and Miami's defense is going to be a little light where they need to be because they're going to get run roughshod by not being able to contain the passing game. So I'm going to look for A&M to win this fairly handily. I'm going to look for like a 56-42 score.
Wow. Do you think
Big
A&M
numbers.
gives up 42 points?
Mm.
All right. I'm going to say I'd like to see more of Texas A&M. I really like this matchup for them because it's not somebody that's going to beat them. It's somebody that's going to give them a good competition first quarter, and they're going to roll late or roll middle of the game, and then late they'll just protect their offensive weapons. Texas A&M is going to win this game 34-17, and it's not going to be close. The Aggies are going to cover. The Aggies to get the outright win. I think it's right at that 51 point margin. So I think they're gonna hit that mark. So in my opinion, Aggies cover. Aggies win. I think Texas A&M's I think they're pretty good. And I hope this Bobby Petrino deal works with Texas A&M because it makes college football better when you have multiple in-state teams that are good. So, with that said, let's talk about the pride of the state of Texas. Hunter's lock of the week, his other lock of the week, the Texas State Bobcats travel that whole 30-minute drive to San Antonio to take on the UTSA Roadrunners. It's okay, with traffic it's an hour, but if we were to walk, we could probably get there in 45 minutes. Texas State gets a big win last week versus Baylor in Waco. It wasn't in San Marcos, it was in Waco. And some could say it would be an ass kicking. The line on this game is UTSA is a 13-point advantage, or we could say Texas State is a 13-point dog with a 65.5 point total. I'm going to save Hunter for last on this one. Let's start with Lindsay on this one. Lindsay, what do you have in this Texas State UTSA game?
I'm going to go with UTSA on this one. They're more put together, and I think that they got the power on the offense to pull this one out. I'm going to look for a score of 32-24.
All right, Jude. I know we talked off screen, so I kind of know where you're leaning. What do we got on this one, Jude?
I think this is probably the last chance Texas State has to lose if they get by this, UTSA, which I think they will. And I'm going to say Lindsey's score sounds about right, 35-24, something like that. But once they win this weekend, I see them running the table. So I'm going to go with
All right.
Texas State.
I'm going to chime in on this one. The Alamo Dome produces high-scoring games. Well, I don't know what it is about it. I think it's the way the dome is actually constructed, because it doesn't. There's a theory that high ceilings in indoor stadiums create or the ceilings in indoor stadiums kind of create makes the teams feel compressed. But however it feels, the Alamo Dome doesn't really feel like it's got a roof on it. I think Texas State's going to come out. I think they're going to beat UTSA. UTSA, although they have a lot of returning stars, I don't think they're going to be able to hang with Texas State in shootout. Texas State's got a ton of offensive weapons, and the defense was surprisingly good. With that said, UTSA's got a quarterback that's in his 7th or 12th year or something like that. Texas State's going to win this game outright, 45-42. The Cats are going to win, and we're going to take the over in this game. But there's going to be, if you like offense, you need to tune in at 2:30 on ESPN. You're going to see some offense. All right, Hunter, this is your alma mater. Let's hear it.
So my roommates are, I think, going to sleep, so I have to be quiet. But it's like Jude said earlier. You have dogs on your team. The Texas State Bobcats are 13-point dogs, but they are some dogs. Well, they're not dogs; they're Bobcats, and Bobcats are better than dogs, and they're a lot better than freaking Roadrunners. This is a rivalry game. Some do or don't know. It's not a manufactured rivalry; it's a real one. I would, if I'm Texas State, right, I just beat a Power 5 team. And you tell me the spread's -30. It went from -21 to -13.5. I beat a Power 5 school, and I only get 7 more points. I'd feel disrespected if I were Texas State, and I think they do feel disrespected. I think Coach Kinney has. Also, fun fact: G.J. Kinney played for Jeff Traylor in high school football at Gilmer High School. Some Texas high school football legends in this game, by the way. A state, a coach and a quarterback that won the state championship together. Going against each other for the first time. It's pretty exciting. If you like Texas high school football lore, this is the game for you. And I think it's like a state championship feel. I mean, they used to play the 3A state championships at the Alamo Dome back in the day. So, this could be a lot of fun. I think it's gonna be a very fun game, a lot of points. But I think UTSA is in wounded animal mode. As the great Josh Pate would say, and I think they're really gonna try to keep this game close. They're gonna probably try to control the ball, but I think if Texas State plays like they did, exploiting opportunities and really getting after the quarterback like they did against Baylor, which is a much better offensive line, maybe we'll see that, but certainly a better defense. There's a real potential for this game to be high flying, and I'm gonna go with the Bobcats, 49, UTSA. Call it 42, and I think the Bobcats, and also TJ Finley plays a lot like he plays a lot like Vince Young if you watch him play. Similar release, similar style, sneaky fast,
similar speed. Oh my
similar
God.
speed.
When he ran that touchdown in, he straight ran past some dudes and through some dudes.
Yeah, so I think this could be a really exciting game. Two great quarterbacks, at least the way it looks right now.
The student becomes the teacher.
I'm
All right, Hunter's taking
going
the Cats.
with the Cats.
All right, I'm going to save Texas and Alabama for the last, and we're about to creep into overtime here. We may actually be into overtime. Run the numbers here, but we got about 7 minutes left in the broadcast, so we're in the actual overtime right now. Another game that I'm picking as a highlight game of the week. Houston's going to travel to Rice. Now Rice played Texas pretty close, and I'm going to tell you a little fun fact about the game. It was 167 degrees on the field, so nobody looked very good. This is Rice's opportunity to win the Battle of Houston. They're going to play this at Rice Stadium in Houston. It's not a great stadium. It's outdoors, and it's going to be hot as shit. So, with that said, Houston's going to win this game. The spread on this one is 9.5 points. Houston's the favorite. The The total is 52.5 points. So the Cougs are going to cover. I'm going to take the under. I'm going to say they're not going to get 52.5 points. And the Cougs are going to get that right win. Houston wins 31-21. Let's say you Hunter on this one.
Yeah, I have to agree with the take there that Houston wins this game. But neither stadium in Houston's very good, and so they're both kind of crap. But at least Rice has hosted a Super Bowl at their stadium. The only thing Houston's ever hosted is a team that paid for wins. Anyway, beyond that, I think that, yeah, I don't know that Rice scores that much. JT Daniels did not look as good as he has before. I know he's playing a stout Texas defense, but he looks like he's regressed, and I don't particularly see Rice doing anything special against Houston. I'm gonna bust it down to 24-17. It's an ugly game. It's not worth watching, but there you go.
All right, Mr. Transfer Portal, JT Daniels, Jude, what do you got on this game?
JT Daniels throws a game-winning touchdown to Braylon Walker, and Bryce wins 31-28.
All right, Lindsay,
Got
what do you got on this one?
Former Trojan.
All right, take it.
Rice's lackluster defense is not going to be enough to stop Houston. I don't see this being a particular problem for Houston to win by a couple of touchdowns, maybe more. But I'd think Houston 28, Rice 14 on this one.
All right. We're going to travel to Lubbock, Texas, and the number 15 Oregon Ducks come to town to take on a very wounded Texas Tech Red Raider squad. Texas Tech had a very lackluster showing last week in Laramie, Wyoming. This game's going to be at 6 o'clock on Fox. This is going to be a national game. It's going to go head-to-head with Texas and Alabama. Nobody's going to watch this Oregon-Texas Tech game unless you hate Texas and Alabama. That's who's going to watch this game. Oregon's going to beat Tech. I give Tech too many points. I don't think Tech scores a lot of points. I think Tech's been reading a lot of their own highlights, and they need to probably have another reality check this week. Hunter, I want to get your opinion on this one first. Son, what do you think on this one?
So kind of run down not the analytics, but the kind of styles here. Tech got beat really because they couldn't stop the read option defensively. It looked like that their defensive ends had never seen that before, and they couldn't run the scrape exchange at all, which is an essential part of defense when you're playing against the read option. And they couldn't go against a quarterback that had speed and could throw on the run, which unfortunately for them, they're playing one of the best quarterbacks on the run in Bo Nix. Bo Nix is one of the best runners in college football. He's also one of the best passers on the run in college football. This Oregon team is built like an SEC team, and Tech may be in wounded animal mode. They're a gritty, tough team that likes to slow the game down. Unfortunately, they run an offense that does not allow them to slow the game down, especially Tyler Shough at quarterback. He's not much of a runner. He looked slow against Wyoming. I can't imagine what he's going to look like against a real defense. Probably not great, is my guess. And I give the Oregon a pounding victory. I say Oregon wins 42-17. I think that Texas Tech can come to a reckoning with who their coach is, what their team is, and that they can't do anything on the defensive line because that line looked awful.
All right. Jude, let me know. What do you think? You're the Pac-12 guy here.
Yeah, I started to go over this earlier. I held my score back. I think Oregon covers by a lot. I think they hit the over. I think Oregon wins 55-20. I think that they're only a 6.5 point favorite, and I think that is way disrespectful for this team. It's just weird. The Pac-12 was built well this year. They're playing great football, and they're about to disband, killing me. Next year, I'm going to be covering all the Mountain West games. Come on, come on.
All right, Lindsay. I got to hear it. I need the voice of reason on this one. Tell me.
I will give you the level-headed.
Be successful in this game.
Yeah, I'm going to give you the level-headed, thoughtfully analyzed take on
Because
this.
we all know that you love you some Bo Nix.
Who doesn't, right? But especially in the Ducks' new fabulous uniforms, they're going to come out and ride that on to victory. And I do believe that they're going to pull this one out 42-28.
All right, Lindsay and I basically have the same score. I gave Texas Tech way too much respect. I'm going to stick with my score. Ducks are going to cover. We're going to take the over on this game. Ducks are going to get the outright win. Oregon beats Texas Tech 42-31. It may not be that close. I think Texas Tech's going to have to come to a realization that they may not be as good as they hoped they would be. If you're a fan of Tech, yeah, it is what it is. All right,
Sorry, your
so
parents
we
didn't
have
love you enough to give you a real team.
we have the 12,000-pound gorilla in the room here.
Elephant, more like.
This is gonna be
Sorry,
the
everybody.
weekend.
Hour and a half. Mark. We'll see you guys next month.
All right, we're going to the overtime here. This is the we're into the extra
Double overtime.
Double overtime here. All right, we're covering one game only. I know which way Lindsay's kind of leaning on this one. I know which way Dude's kind of leaning on this one. I know where Hunter's leaning on this one. Y'all aren't gonna know where I'm leaning on this one. Lindsay, I want to hear you. Texas travels to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, 6 p.m. on ESPN. So everybody in Austin's not going to be able to watch this game if you get Charter Spectrum. The Alabama is a 7-point favorite. It's going to be 54 total points. Lindsay, what do you got on this one?
There are a number of ways that Texas can win this game. One of them is riding on Quinn Ewers, and if he has a great game, there's one thing going in their corner where he's going to dominate against Alabama's defense. Also, their ground game could be underestimated handily, and look for them to turn on both the running game and they're going to have a great passing game by Ewers. And if Alabama underperforms, they don't have a great backup plan. I actually would look for Texas to pull this game out the more I thought about it this week, especially because Sarkisian has so much riding on this. I do believe he could outcoach Nick Saban. So given this combination of factors that are going to fall in Texas' favor, I'm going to look for Texas to pull this one out, but it's not going to be real high scoring. I'm going to look for a 32-28 score.
Uh-oh. I think it's me that just flipped out. All right. Can you hear me? Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha.
All right. Well, no, I blipped out. My internet sucks. All right, Jude.
Thanks, Charter.
Sark was the SC guy. Are we going with Sark or are we going with Saban? What are we doing here?
No, man, I got to go with Sark and that faux hawk, man. Come on. One of the things that Lindsay failed to mention, and I agree with exactly what he said. Quinn Ewers can have a good game, don't underestimate the running game, but don't underestimate their defensive line. That's what's gonna win Texas this game, and they're gonna put so much pressure on the new Alabama quarterback. I think his name's I don't know his first name, but Milroe or Milroe.
He was a former Texas commit, Jalen Milroe.
Oh, Jalen Milroe. Okay, yeah.
Jalen Milroe can run. He is all world.
He's gonna have to be. He's gonna have to. He's absolutely gonna have to. And if Texas contains, it's gonna be a long day. I don't know about the over under. I think is 54 points. I'm gonna take the under, but I'm gonna take Texas 24-14.
All right,
Sark
Hunter, what do you got?
Gosh, I'm not a big fan of calling sweeps. I really hate it, but I have to. This is a game. This is the defining game for Steve Sarkisian, for Quinn Ewers, for Xavier Worthy at Texas, right? Alabama, they want to win this game. Obviously, never underestimate a Saban's team's willing desire to win a game. But Texas does a lot of things that Alabama has not shown to be very good at stopping in the last 17 years under Nick Saban. Now, you have to do them very well in order to beat Nick Saban, and that's beating them in the middle. Quinn Ewers had some struggles over the top, and I'd love to see that taken care of. But over the middle, he was one of the best quarterbacks last week. Over the middle, found ways to hit wide receivers, ran the ball efficiently, very McCoy-esque, right? Colt McCoy wasn't the deep shot maestro a lot of the time. He knew how to cut teams apart with 1,000 cuts. And I think if Ewers understands that his place in this offense is that, and Steve Sarkisian calls the game to that strength and also utilizes this bevy of running backs in the backfield that seem to all be better each time they touch the ball. It's pretty great to watch. Um, that offensively is the game plan. Defensively, they're going to have to commit a lot of resources to taking down Jalen Milroe. But I think what the game plan here for Texas is to win is to force Milroe to run. As much as that's his talent, I think you make him play to his strength, and you let Jalen Ford try and take him on one-on-one, man-on-man type thing. Because if you let them pass the ball deep, you can't. I don't think you want to do that. I think you want to make Jalen Milroe run, which again, playing to someone's strength not the best idea, but I think in this case, I think it will work out for Texas because Jalen Milroe has shown to be pretty careless with the football. I saw it against Middle Tennessee State. I don't like it, but he seems fairly careless with the football, and I think if there's any team that can take advantage of that, I think it's Texas. I don't think it's a very high-scoring game. I think this is like a Patriots-Colts game where it's two heavy hitters walking in, a classic Patriots-Colts, right? Brady, Manning. And it's not, you're sitting there, this game's be 42-35, and it ends up being 17-10 or something like that. I'm going to say I'm going to give Texas the win here. God help me. 27-24.
All right, so I almost have to take Alabama here just so I can win. But I'm going to break it down. There's a couple of things here that I need to cover. Last year, if you want to go back and look at last year's game between Texas and Alabama, Texas destroyed Alabama up the middle. It wasn't even close. I mean, Texas' defensive line mauled Alabama. This is a much better defensive line that Alabama's going to face. I think Alabama's going to struggle to move the ball on offense. Alabama's also going to be missing their two top corners this week playing against Texas, which is not good because Texas has speed at every wide receiver position. Texas has the number one wide receiver in college football. They're the number two tight end in college football. They have probably the top 5 receiving core, and they're also not going to be playing on a field that's 167 degrees this weekend. With that said, Alabama's still Alabama. Nick Saban's still Nick Saban, and the last quarterback to beat Alabama from the state of Texas in Tuscaloosa was Johnny Manziel. I watched the Manziel documentary. We're gonna see Quinn Ewers is gonna pull this off. He's gonna have to play a flawless game. Texas is gonna have to learn how to run the ball too this game. They're gonna have to go and get physical with Alabama and punch them in the face. With that said, heavyweight title fights tend not to be high-scoring games unless there's a big knockout. I think Texas comes in and beats Alabama's ass, and I think they beat them soundly. Alabama only scores one offensive touchdown. They'll score a special teams or a defensive touchdown, but they only score one offensive touchdown. Texas comes out and beats them 24-14. I'm going to take Texas to win the game, but I'm going to take the under. But the reason why I think that Texas this isn't going to be a close game. Like, this isn't going to be close at all. I know that it's a 10-point win, but it's basically you're going to get about 65 offensive plays this game because the clock's going to run. Because Nick Saban is not going to allow Texas to come in there and burn them down on their own field. There's no way. Jalen Milroe is going to run the ball probably 30 times for probably 65 yards. So,
wow. Yeah, 65 positive yards. How many side to side?
I don't know, probably about 572. But that's my game. Of course, we're going to come in on Saturday afternoon, and Alabama will beat Texas 55-21, and we'll all be eating a big bowl of crow. So I hope not. I hope Texas can pull this off. Like Hunter said, this is the defining win. With that said, that's the show for this week. We went over by 9 minutes. It'll be 10 by the time we do our outros. I want to thank,
by the way,
all 12 people that showed up today. And Jude, I got to thank you especially for running the chat and being in charge of that. That really helped out a lot. Communicate with all our
keep everybody engaged
here.
Trying to keep everyone engaged.
Since he's last, I'll make him first to leave here. Let him. I almost
get out.
Removed him. All right, Lindsay, say some goodbyes. Let's end this thing mercifully.
Thanks everyone to showing up in the chat. I appreciate you watching, joining in the conversation. Please tell your friends. Please subscribe if you haven't. Let's build the fan base here a little bit, and we'll have some really cool things to come as we grow the viewership and the subscriber rate. So thank you all for your help. Appreciate you stopping in tonight. We'll see you on Saturday. Enjoy your weekends.
All right, Hunter. I know you gotta go
All
to
right.
bed, so hit us with it.
In order of importance from least to most, go Navy, beat Army, Hook 'em Horns, and of course, eat 'em up, Cats.
All right, Jude.
Good night, everybody, and thanks for watching. And just let me remind you first: fight on. We are SC. V is for victory. And remember, you cannot spell SEC without the letters S and C. See you next week.
All right, I want to thank all of our great co-hosts. This isn't just my channel. This is our channel. It's a great channel to have. I'm fortunate I got some really good friends that come and help me out. And I'm really fortunate to have you, the fans, listening. With that said, remember, 50 subscribers gets us a big interview. And in the immortal words of the late, great John Madden, the most points always wins the game. Thanks for watching.